The first day you get into any leadership role, you're developing the pipeline, the succession pipeline. You're developing your bench. That's a lesson I learned early on in my career. I learned the value of education. And I think the days of just, we're only going to look at, people with bachelor's degrees or master's degrees, et cetera. I think those days are long gone, where it now comes down to, are those folks, do they have the skill sets that we need as a company to allow us to achieve our objectives? And what kind of education can we give them? My philosophy was one that whatever strategy and plan we come up with, it has to be the team's plan. It can't be Mark Field's plan, or it can't be just the CEO's plan. Because, when you have people who participate in the process, they also own it. One of the most impactful things that ever came to me was, as we got through the Great Recession, about a year or two later, every year before the Detroit Auto Show, we'd bring all the employees down and we'd do a dress rehearsal of the press conference that we were going to do the next day. And then afterwards, we'd have all the employees come down. We used to do this in Joe Louis Arena. And so we had 3,000, 3,500 employees. And I remember a woman came up to me, and she was with her husband, and she was with her 12-year-old daughter. And her husband was a designer, a car designer for the company. And she came up to me and she said, "I just want to thank you." I said, "Thank me for what?" She goes, "I want to thank you and the leadership team for getting us through the Great Recession. My daughter now can go to college. We don't have to worry about, what happened to our pension, given some of our other competitors, et cetera. I just want to thank you for leading through that time period." And, it just hit me like, wow, it's not only about the business. This is around, allowing our extended family, employees and otherwise, to feel successful in their own lives. As a company, you have to have a very clear understanding of that where to play and how to win. And part of the how to win is, what are the skill sets that we need? And the corollary question for that is, what do you have to believe for us to be able to win in this market, 5 years from now? And that drives you towards, we're going to need these type of skill sets in the company. Or, we're going to have more individuals who are going to have responsibility for P&Ls. So we're going to need more leadership training for folks. Education doesn't become the first thing on the list of cost items that goes in a downturn. I strongly believe the best companies are not going to be pulling, hey, let's just cut off education. I mean, I've seen that in my career where, the auto industry is very cyclical. One of the downturns we went to, bingo, we had a whole center that was dedicated to educational, management, education, and leadership development. Boom, it closed for a year and a half. And we had a huge dearth in that pipeline and in the talent base that we needed, where we wanted to be 5 years from now. And we had to catch up from that. So, I think the best companies are going to be very deliberate as they go forward, understanding, but it starts with crystal clarity around what is your business strategy and your product and service strategy, and then what is the talent base that you need, and make darn sure you communicate that to folks that we're going to invest in you, even in times of, economic downturns. You want an employee, as they think about development and education, this is an investment in me. What am I going to get on that investment? As opposed to, maybe I can learn a couple of things, great, but they should think about it as their own ROI versus, the company thinking about it that way. We also have to think about how people live their lives these days. Everybody lives their lives on their computer or their mobile phone. And as you think about how people live their lives, particularly around something around education, that's what they're used to. So if you make it really difficult, and cumbersome, the majority of folks will just opt out really quickly. Versus, again, what I really like about InStride and the approach is once a company decides, yes, we want to work with InStride, it's around making it as easy as possible for that employee to access that education and start down that path. Education is extremely important, and we work in a world now where the clock speed of technology changing, consumer behaviors changing, the world is spinning a lot faster than it has in the past. And making sure folks are equipped, or at least giving them the opportunity to be equipped to thrive in that kind of changing world is really important to me. What are we really offering our employees in terms of the ability for them to develop themselves, whether it's in a functional sense or in a leadership sense? And how do we do that in I hate to use this term, but a frictionless way? Because, many types of programs companies offer, you want to be able to take advantage of that, but the way it's been structured in the company or it's been offered, it's very kind of complex. And it's not by any fault of the company, it's just the way it's been traditionally put together. So the question is, how do you make that easy for folks? Which obviously something like InStride really solves. And when I had a chance to spend time with Vivek and the management team and understanding, what was the service that we were offering and how does that impact the person on the front line where they can take advantage of that. And the light bulb went off on me and said, wow, this is right up my alley. So those really are the two reasons I feel passionate about it, and I think it makes lives a lot easier for folks and organizations to take advantage of it. Well, it really comes down to legacy. It's really asking executives when it's time for you to leave the company, retire, whatever it may be, can you look back and say, you left the organization and your people better than when you got there? And so, for leaders, it's not just about the numbers. Yes, the numbers are really important, right, in terms of delivering. But it's, are you building a next generation that's going to be able to carry on and do even better work than you've done? That's why I think the greatest leaders in the world, those companies, when they left, actually did better than even while they were there because they created that foundation. So I don't care whether you're a CEO or you're working in just a group department, et cetera. I would just encourage executives to kind of think about it that way.